Gentlemen,
Mack Truck, aka your worst nightmare. Mack Truck, aka your worst nightmare. Mack Truck, aka your worst nightmare. Mack Truck, Mack Truck, Mack Truck.
ladies and gentlemen,
Mack Truck, aka your worst nightmare.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, all of the things. It's Taco Tuesday here. Mack Truck in the morning-ish. We started a little bit late, so we'll go a little bit past time to make sure everybody is getting the allotted amount of their truck time to turn out this stream here on both sides. I appreciate you for joining. This is the Mack Truck Podcast, Mack Truck in the morning-ish. My name is Mack Truck. We got a lot to talk about today. Got some news and notes out of the NBA in terms of the updates of the sale for the Los Angeles Lakers regarding the Buss family. Also, going to talk about some fake news that was reported by Shams Charania. And now that I think about it, the executive producer hit me up this morning and asked if we were talking about it. And I hadn't really thought about it just because I'm not huge on the story that's being talked about, but because it's fake news, we don't do that here. It's what we're doing. There's still more coming out. Shams was just, I got I got PMS right here on the other over here. So I saw a little bit, but thank you guys for joining us here today on the show. Like I said, we started a little bit late, so we're gonna spend that extra time, make it up for it. So we're here. I appreciate you guys. This show is brought to you and presented to you by the Underknown Network. My name is Mack Truck here on a Tuesday, and I still have my daughter, and I'm excited. And she wants to come say hi, actually. Well, as long as her little 4-year-old mind remembers that she wanted to come in here. So don't be alarmed again for a second day in a row if you hear a little voice in the microphone. So yeah, we're talking sports. We're talking college football. The official AP top 25 preseason college football poll came out. Thank you for the daily heart me. I appreciate it. Talking the AP top 25 college poll. Also, for those of y'all who have been with me the whole time, back college is out. We will be talking about that today, and I'm excited as heck. Just for the plain fact that we're talking college football. Some of these teams that are on here, just on the list in itself for 2026, just for college football preseason, are kind of interesting me. Some of the players on this list are a little interesting. Some of just the teams in general, I just often wonder how we even got to this point of some of these teams being on the top 25. But either way, we're talking about Texas should be higher. Listen, I swear we're gonna talk about that here in just a second. Listen, go and tap the screen, send it out. Let's get people in here. Let's have a good conversation here. Like I said, this show and broadcast is presented to you by TikTok Live as well. The Underknown Network. Make sure you're following, liking, sharing, subscribing. The Underknown Network in itself. All the executive producers and everybody in the background out here killing it. Okay. We got so much happening over in the network, but you wouldn't know until you start following. So listen, like I said, we're talking college football, talking the AP top 25 in its entirety right now at this very point in time. And if anybody has seen this top 25, KDK, welcome in. If anybody has seen this top 25 list, if you watch college football, if you know college football, you know that some of the teams on this list don't surprise you. Some of their placements on this list don't surprise you. But some of the teams on this list are also like, what? Like, it's like a bunch of question marks. And I'm frustrated as hell because, and I'm going to start with this comment here. And I'm very old school when it comes to like the ranking system when it comes to college football. I think that as the national champion, you automatically need to be number one. I don't give a damn about a recruiting class. I don't give a damn who. I don't give a damn about what you're retaining for the most part. Okay. Obviously, in some aspects, you have to retain. You have to retain, and in order to have that high ranking pedigree, you have to retain a little bit of something. FLG, thank you for the Daily Heart Me. Like, obviously, you have to retain something to have that high ranking pedigree. If I win the national championship in college football and my preseason ranking is anything less than 1, I'm offended. And in its also entirety is the fact that while we're sitting here, and this is, and I feel bad for narking so hard on some of these teams. And like I said, we're gonna get to the lineup here, like the list here in just a second, in terms of who's where. Now I don't have I have the majority of, I have all of the teams that need to be highlighted in terms of what we're talking about. So just to start off with the top 4, and the top 4 offends me. Ohio State at number 1, Oregon at number 2, Georgia at number 3, and Notre Dame at number 4. Then you have Texas at 5 and Indiana at 6. The entire top 6 is absolutely incorrect. Okay. The entire top 6 is incorrect. There's zero reason why Ohio State and Oregon, regardless if they're in the Big Ten, regardless if I'm a Big Ten fan, affiliate, whatever, you didn't win you didn't win your conference. You didn't go to the national championship. You were not the Big Ten representation for the college football national championship as of last year. And that's what frustrates me. Indiana literally should be number 1 right now. I don't care what anybody says. Indiana should be number 1 right now, out of pure respect for the fact that they went 16-0 and won the national championship. Did not drop a game. Came very, very close to dropping some games, absolutely. But you win the national championship and you end up being 6. Like, okay, great. Yeah, you're still in the top 10. But as a national champion, again, as the national champion, you should be number 1. It literally should be Indiana 1, Miami 2, because they were the runner-up. Again, this is just how old school I am, but this is also how the rankings should have stayed before they started messing with the rankings and, adding the brackets and all the things. Like, adding the brackets to the college football college football playoffs is wasn't a bad thing, but don't mess up the ranking system. Like, if you're going to do it all the way. Be true to the rankings. Like, if a school wins the championship, they should automatically go into next season on the preseason polls at number 1. Just because your recruiting class means absolutely nothing. It drives me nuts. Red Bull Queen, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Please tap the screen. Please share it out in its entirety. Like I said, Indiana should be 1. Miami should be 2. And then you should be able to fill in terms of who won bowl games, and then go from recruiting class. But the top 2 to 3 spots should literally be reserved for the final 3 or 4 teams. Football the previous season. As it stands, Ohio State's number 1, Oregon's 2, Georgia's 3, Notre Dame is 4, Texas is 5, Indiana is 6, Miami is 7. The fact that the national runner-up and the national champion are 6 and 7 on this preseason list is so disrespectful. And I really wish I could understand why it was so, why they have it this way. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. There's no actual reasoning for this. I don't understand it. Either way, number 7, number 8, Texas A&M, number 9, Ole Miss, 10, Oklahoma has had their lowest ranking, I believe, in the past several years, with being number 13 in this AP Top 25 poll. 2 is Iowa. Houston is 23. Louisville 4, and Mizzou is 25. So the other thing about this entire the entirety of this is just the fact that why what is your reasoning for ranking teams like this? Somebody in the comments, let me know. Somebody help me understand what it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. And like I said, I feel bad for narking on somebody like Ohio State because Ohio State is a very good team. Their recruiting class is always high. They always make huge productions in terms of players that they're sending to the NFL. But as of right now, as of right this second, Ohio State is not the number one team in college football. Ohio State is not the number one team in college football, simply for the plain fact that they didn't win the championship. Like I said, I just find it so disrespectful to have all these other teams ranked higher than the current national champion and ranked higher than the current national runner-up. It doesn't make any sense to me. I see some comments in here. Autumn, we don't deserve the number one spot. And that's coming from an Ohio State fan, guys. Autumn, also, if you're a huge fan of college football as well and just everything in its purity, make sure you're following Autumn's content here on the TikTok sphere. She puts out great content. She knows her game. And she is a woman of grace and power like myself. So make sure you're following her content. Make sure you're hopping in her lives and her panels. And like I said, coming from an Ohio State fan that she is just here in the comments, she even said that they don't deserve the top spot. And I often wonder if a lot of these teams think they deserve some of these spots outside of, like I said, outside of Texas, outside of Indiana, outside of Miami, and outside. Hi, babe. Everybody go follow my wife down in the comments, the Mom Brew. All things mommy and wife life for your podcasting content. Jax, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Go ahead and tap the screen, get your daily heart muse as well. If you don't mind, go ahead and post this to your stories as well. We're finally getting our algorithm back. I appreciate you guys for joining us here on the Mac Truck Pod. Mac Truck in the morning, talking some college football here. So here's my gripe. And if I'm a Texas fan, and shout out to the executive producer who is a Hook'em fan, Texas for life out here. Okay. As a Texas fan, it's very frustrating. Like I could imagine it being very frustrating being a Texas fan and knowing how well you guys did and still seemingly enough being disrespected in the polls. Like, okay, yes, you're top 5 and you're rounding out the top 5, but there's no reason why Georgia should be number 3 at all. It just and yeah, and I see the comments over here on the TikTok stream. I see some likes and comments over here on the other side. Autumn said these preseason polls are just ridiculous. Listen, and it's very frustrating for like I as a college football fan. I mean, yes, I'm an Iowa fan. We're gonna get to Iowa and its entirety as far as like how I feel about their ranking and everything when I do my Mac Truck watch list for college football 2026. But as a generalized football fan that I am, as a former player, all the things, it irritates me to see people getting top spots just because of namesake. It irritates the absolute crap out of me. Like, yes, they're preseason polls and yeah, they're very, they're just, it's a benchmark because obviously we all know if you watch college football, all the things that the real rankings don't start to matter until that November spot right before the first round or the first selection for playoffs. Got some comments here. I'm cool with our lower ranking. Started last year with too much hype. Let us cook. Fair. That's valid. Coming from a Texas fan. Autumn says, well, Texas and ND didn't make the playoffs. I think Georgia should be a top 5. So I agree. I don't think Georgia should be number 3. I think they should definitely be inside that top 5. I just don't think number 3 is that spot. While Texas and Notre Dame didn't make the college playoff, I'm basing it off the fact of their offensive efficiency. And that's not necessarily saying Notre Dame should even be in that conversation with their offensive efficiency because most of their offense ran through Jeremiah Love last year. Now he's in the NFL playing for the Arizona Cardinals and tearing it up over there. CJ Carr also coming into Notre Dame with a chip on his shoulder, avoiding the family team that was Michigan and coming to Notre Dame. So listen, like I said, for those of you who've been with me for a while, know how I do football and how I get through the season with just, outside of not watching just one team. That is War, Dell, Weaponized Air Raid, Del Curry, out here on the Mama Combat line in my bag apparel and custom. Founder, partner of the Mac Truck Show, Mac Truck Pod. Okay. What is up, rookie? Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and tap the screen. Get your daily heart because I would really appreciate it. We're on out there. Need you to help assist out. Also, didn't have a Dr. Pepper yesterday. Proud of myself. First can today. Only can today. Went 24 hours with no soda, and I'm kind of proud of myself. Oh, so good. Either way, listen. Said Yeah, I like to keep an eye out on all conferences. Yeah, I and that's kind of what I started doing. I started doing this about probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe even right before COVID started. Right before COVID started, um, I was like, I want to like, and this was like in the prime of my playing career and stuff. Like I wanted to learn more systems of football. I wanted to watch more teams. Um, play football like outside of just the Big Ten because I was starting to find myself being very like hyper focused on just the Big Ten and like just becoming more biased of my own conference. And while I can be biased and have an opinion on my own conference and my own team, I wanted to learn more and just be able to get that much more knowledge. Thank you, babe. See, I'm a U of Toledo alum, so I keep an eye out on Mac. Yeah, that's fair. I have some teams, and a lot of them are in the Power Four, and I'm debating about adding a team outside of the Power Four. I just don't know which team I'm going to pick or where I'm going to, place that. Like I said, guys, go ahead and share this out. I appreciate you guys for joining us. If you're just joining us here on Mac Truck in the Morning-ish, Mac Truck Podcast, we're talking college football. Just went over the AP Top 25. And now we're getting into the 2026 Mac Truck College Watch List for NCAA college football. Listen, obviously, starting out at number 1, y'all should already know if you know me, if you know who my college team is, you know that that's the first team. There's no ranking to this, by the way. There's no ranking. Like, I'm not putting this in order, ranking them. These aren't my specific rankings as far as like where I think these teams should be placed. These are just rankings or a list of teams that I'm watching this season and who I think you should also watch out for. So obviously, number 1 being the Iowa Hawkeyes. That is a thing. Now my wife's trolling me in the chat. It's fine. I love this for me. So number 1, Iowa Hawkeyes. We right here again, starting in the Big Ten last year. Iowa finished 9-4 overall with a 6-3 record in Big Ten conference play. Now, obviously, the Iowa Hawkeyes entered the 2026 preseason rankings, the coaches' rankings, and the AP rankings at the exact same spot that they always do and will always do until something extravagant happens at number 22. I was one of those programs where you already know what you're going to get. Lots of physical football, lots of defense, lots of toughness, and a team that's really going to make you earn every yard. If you watch the Big Ten football, it's very much the heartland of football is literally what we are known for, heartland of sports. Very slobber knocker, run the ball down your throat, use fullbacks and tight ends, old school football system here at Iowa. And for me, I'm honestly, like, if I have to be completely honest, I'm surprised Iowa was ranked in the top 20. I'm not surprised where we were ranked because it happens it don't matter. We could have a really good season and end the season on 10-3 like we did a couple years ago and still end up in the bottom part of the top 20. And that's okay. Until Iowa starts to show that consistency season to season with offensive efficiency, Iowa's still going to remain in the top 20. It's just going to be in that lower side. Now, so Iowa loses Mark Gronowski, storied quarterback, coming out of NDSU the season before to play his final season for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Was the most winning college quarterback in college football last year, with ending a record with 59 wins, 11 losses, and 2 national championships at the D2 level. Also lost a bunch of defensive pieces in terms of Ethan Herka, Aaron Graves, lost Xavier Wampa on the backside as well. So Iowa is looking to replace a lot of those things. But the biggest thing for me in terms of this season is, what is Jeremy Hecklinski going to do? Iowa has already announced that Jeremy Hecklinski is the starting quarterback for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And if there's any Iowa fans in the hallway or watching this currently, listening to this on either stream, Kirk Ferentz does the ass opposite. Like, he always of what is right offensively, quarterback-wise for the team, with the exception of Mark Gronowski last year. Now, Jeremy Hecklinski comes in with a little bit different pedigree. He's had to sit on a bunch of benches. He's had to relearn the system, but Kirk Ferentz is very old school. Thank you so much for that. Not the Iowa Parakeets, babe. My wife is trolling me in the chat, and that's okay. Listen, everybody in the chat, drop a hey, babe, because she loves when you do it. Make sure you follow her page, all the things. Jeremy Hecklinski has had to sit there and earn his time. If anybody knows Kirk Ferentz, he's very old school, very much seniority driven program in terms of earning your time unless something happens or you get hurt, all the things. Now, moving on into the next team on my college watch list for 2026. And I have watched this team before, but I am now still more interested in watching this team in terms of one of the teams being outside of the Big Ten. And that is the executive producers, Texas Longhorns. I think Arch Manning is going to come in and blow the top off of his junior season. I think Arch Manning, for the most part, doesn't really have anything left to prove outside of just making a long playoff run and hopefully getting into the college football national playoff bracket. Now, with the 12-team bracket, I absolutely see Texas incorporating themselves. I think the biggest thing for them is retaining the consistency that they had and trying to just cut back a game or two that they've lost last season, but still continuing on the offensive efficiency that they had. The Texas defense, I'm not so much worried about. The Texas defense and the way they stack 8 in the box and send 2 on the other side is where lots of their defensive efficiency comes from. The front 4 up front, the box 7 in itself with the 1 overhang and the 2 on the other side. Texas is very, very good at stealing your hopes in midair, mid pass. It's interesting to watch us deflate somebody else's offense as Texas is on defense. Arch Manning, though, like I said, is coming into his true junior season. And he could leave for the draft after this, depending on what he does. He could leave after this season. He could make his mark and declare for the draft. I don't know. I'm not necessarily a Texas fan, so I'm not privy to that information. But if I had to guess, if Arch Manning has a blowout season, and honestly, he wasn't even that far off last season from doing that. Obviously, had a couple key players hurt. He was kind of banged up just a little bit. The offensive line has to get reassured in its entirety. But I think that Arch Manning could blow the top off this. I honestly, y'all can take this as a hot take. I don't give a damn. I think Arch Manning inserts himself into the Heisman Trophy talks this year. I know it's a lot of expectation. It's a lot of, hype as somebody coming from the outside that's not, that doesn't necessarily hyper focus on the SEC. But just from the eye test and from what he's shown since he got the starting position after Sam Ehlinger and Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning has all the tools. He has Steve Sarkisian, who comes from the Nick Saban tree of coaching. That in itself should tell you what kind of system he's already been in. Okay. And I see some comments here on the TikTok. I said, well, he's already in talks about another. That's fair. I think if it behooves him, I think he stays all 4 years. Like realistically, I think he stays all 4 years. But if he has the season that people think he's going to have, I can also see him declaring for the draft. But we'll just have to see. Number 3 on this list, ironically enough, going back to the Big Ten, obviously is going to be the current defending champions that are the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana came into, thank you for the daily harmony. I appreciate it, Lisa. Thank you for joining us here on the Mac Truck in the Morning show. I appreciate you for being here with me, taking a little bit of time, closing up this college football segment, and then we're going to kind of do a speed through of some of the other topics so we can get to everything in the show. But this is a little bit of a longer segment. So yes, and I see comments. Don't sleep on Cignetti. Kurt Cignetti is a dude. Listen. I love Kirk Ferentz so much. He's the longest tenured college football coach. But if I could pick anybody to replace Kirk Ferentz if he ever retires, it is absolutely Kirk Cignetti. Absolutely Kirk Cignetti. Or a Nick Saban type, somebody from the Nick Saban tree of coaching. I would absolutely love. Listen, obviously Indiana coming into this season at number 6 on the AP polls as the current college national football champions. Went 16-0, ridiculously undefeated season after being known for having the worst college football percentage ever. You get Kurt Cignetti, you flip it 180 one year, get to the Big Ten championship and lose, then you flip it 180 the same direction, win the entire conference out. You go undefeated, 16-0, you get a Heisman Trophy winner, you send a bunch of people to the NFL, and now you're about to do it again. Only difference is you now have Josh Hoover, who has kind of proven himself, coming from Tennessee, coming from TCU. My only concern is why didn't you try to keep Alberto Mendoza, which is the younger brother of Fernando Mendoza? He's now at Georgia Tech, so what do you do with that offense here also? But now with the new 5-year rule that they have going on, some players are returning from that championship squad. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. And like I said, the issue with Indiana, obviously you have a target on your back. You're the national champions for a reason. Everybody's coming for you. I don't care who you are. Everybody's coming for you. So we're going to see what Kurt Cignetti can do in this new regime of football he's created for the Hoosiers. Number 4 on my list, the runners up, the Miami Hurricanes, finished 13-3 overall last season, went 6-2 in the ACC. The Hurricanes made their way to the national championship game last year. Carson Beck took his talents to the Arizona Cardinals as well. He's now handing the ball off to Jeremiah Love. He's also a college football national champion as a backup for the University of Georgia before essentially hitting the transfer portal and coming over to Mario Cristobal and those Miami Hurricanes. Again, they came up short last year. Miami has unfinished business. They're entering 2026 at number 7. Like I said, I expect them to be a team that has this one thing on their mind, and that's finishing the job. That's being able to get back to the college football national champions. I just killed a spider. Sick. National champions in itself. Next team on the Mack Truck watch list, final team, the Ole Miss Rebels. This is your first season without Lane Kiffin after the entirety of the drama of him just up and leaving in the middle of the playoff, right after the playoff game with him and Trinidad Chambliss. I'm looking for Trinidad Chambliss to pop the top off the SEC as well. I think the SEC is going to come down to, unfortunately for Alabama fans, because a lot of Bama fans don't want to hear this, but I think the SEC, if it geographically works, because I don't necessarily know if they're still split between East and West or not, it's going to be Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss. I think with Trinidad Chambliss returning, I think with him going into the first official full season of Pete Golding's head coaching era down for the Rebels, I think Ole Miss again takes away some of those losses that they had last year and finally resurges themselves back into a deep SEC run as well as a deep college football playoff run. I see Miss Deb says go Dogs in there. Listen, I appreciate you guys for joining me here on the Mack Truck Show, Mack Truck Pod. We're just ending our college football segment here. The Ole Miss Rebels are ranked number 9 in the AP Top 25, and so their expectations are already there. Obviously, the Rebellion Red Cup is also something that you need to look forward to as well. Also, you can find all this information on NCAA.com as well as the respective college and universities athletic pages as well. So, I appreciate you guys for popping here and hanging out with us. This is the Mack Truck in the Morning show, the Mack Truck podcast here presented to you by the Underknown Network as well as the TikTok live sphere. Miss Autumn, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Go Bucks is what she said. It's on Iowa over here, but I love the spirit. Listen, this platform is about to be fire with college football being in here. Peanut, thank you for the follow. Go ahead and grab your daily heart me. Go ahead and tune in. We are here weekdays, Monday to Friday, 12:30 Eastern time to 2 p.m. Eastern time. We are debating about making the show a little bit different of a time slot, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys because obviously if you know me, if you've been here, we base the show around audience. We base the show around audience content, all the things. So if you have a different time slot or you like the time slot, drop a rose and give me your time slot. Drop a rose in the chat or on the screen and give me your preferred time slot because I'm trying to make a decision before I do the next week's lineup of shows. So good morning, good afternoon, G. I appreciate you for joining me. Thank you so much. Listen, before we get into it, we got to give a shout out to the network. Like I said, presented to you by the Underknown Network here. All things Underknown. Make sure you're following all things on the page, on the map music reviews as well. We're going to have the official plug for their collaboration as well as the episodes and schedule for this week. That is the mid-August point. I like where it's at, maybe 30 minutes earlier. Okay. Executive producer got to chime in. I appreciate that. I'm kind of leaning that on the same tip as well. Other thing, if you are not following everything on the network, you need to. We have so much going on. There's so much happening. I wish I could just spill everything that's happening, but I can't. But the only way you're going to know is if you're following the Underknown Network. All things Mack Truck, all things Flying Out with That Dude Biggs, all things Recognized Game. That is back on the 23rd. Okay. All things back here on the 23rd with Recognized Game. It's going to be fire. We got our draft going. It's going to be, busting out here. I am excited. I just, like I said, if I could spill the beans with what we're doing at the network, I would, but we can't. At least here, we always try to give every show and every platform their own chance to spill their own tea before we can spill it. So either way, make sure you're following everything on the network. Make sure you're giving a huge shout out and thank you to the executive producer, Mr. Evan Thunder Bradfield, better known as Evan Thunder. my guy, my best friend, the big homie out here making all the magic happen. Listen, and the network is down there in the chat. Network is also over here on this side as well. Like, follow, share, subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere you get your streaming, especially on the Book of Many Faces, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, all of the things. Okay, back to the show. Listen, we're here. Like I said, if you're joining us, I appreciate it. Go ahead and tap the screen and get your daily heart me if you like the content. Make sure you're following the network as well as the Mac Truck, both this personal page of mine and the Mac Truck podcast page itself. Listen, hopping into WNBA really quick. And yes, we're talking about Caitlin Clark. We're talking about the Indiana Fever. We're talking about the MVP race, but more in depth in its entirety. Okay. There's a lot happening. There's a little bit of drama, a little bit of history, a little bit of historical drama, all the things. Going back, going to recap the past game of the Indiana Fever versus the Atlanta Dream. Now, and this was something I forgot to mention yesterday in our full recap of our weekend sports for the WNBA. In terms of the Atlanta Dream did not have Jordan Canada or Brianna Jones, which in turn would have made a huge difference because, again, anybody that watches WNBA, anybody that watches basketball knows how crazy the front court for the Atlanta Dream has been this entire season. And the fact that Angel Reese is still out here delivering on a high level without those two is crazy to me. I honestly don't see how Atlanta doesn't make the playoffs. If they could keep their win percentage up, try to, chip away at some of that negative loss percentage, keep themselves in that top 4 or 5 gray area. Because right now, Indiana's 4, Atlanta's 5, and Dallas is 6, I believe. New York is 6, and I think Dallas is 3. Within that bottom quarter of the top 5, top 6, I think Atlanta does the job. But right now, we're talking about the controversy, and it's. And I'm going to warn you guys, if you're in here and you know me, I try my best to keep it sports. Unfortunately, with this topic, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid not talking about it. And it drives me nuts because I feel like it takes away from the overall thing that we're talking about. But for those of you who have been paying attention to the WNBA, obviously there has been some controversy regarding Sophie Cunningham and the stance in terms of the WNBA and where it stands with transgender players playing in the WNBA itself. This specific topic in terms of the transgender topic for the WNBA has nothing to do with Sophie Cunningham. It, however, has something to do with the Atlanta Dream and the WNBA security at this Indiana Fever Atlanta Dream game in Atlanta. Now, the WNBA security asked multiple fans with messages about transgender participation in women's sports to cover their shirts. And the WNBA now acknowledged that they should not have done that. You can find this on problem. Obviously, the transgender conversation in its entirety is a very, very touchy subject. It's a very glass table subject, especially in sports. Now, and I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I am completely 180 the other direction in terms of what the majority agree with. That is my stance. I have no problem letting that be known right now. I am all for transgender athletes playing in the WNBA. You could try to fry me. I don't give a damn. I never have given a damn. While I am a female athlete, I am a women's professional athlete. I am all of the things like with being a female athlete. I am also and will always remain somebody of pure inclusion. Point blank, period. I am somebody who is all inclusive. I don't give a damn where you come from. I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care if you're a man, a cat, a dog, a 4-year-old, a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, a Boston cream pie from Boston Market Village. And I don't give a damn who you are. I personally have zero problems with it because just because you are a man does not automatically give physical advantage. Well, yes, anatomy and science is a thing. I've had this conversation many, many times. If somebody is truly transitioning, they will show the proof of transitioning. That is the entire basis of this argument as well. Obviously, there are people that are trying to make a point about this whole thing. That is a fact. Here's the other issue just within this as we're talking the Mac Truck Show. Okay. The WNBA has acknowledged that they should not have had security telling people to cover up their shirts. First of all, people can sue you. You understand that, right? There's this super cool thing called freedom of speech. It happens to be, I don't know, one of the rights that we were given as a human being when we were born. Freedom of speech is absolutely a thing and absolutely a legality. And here's my other thing on this, and I'm going to get deeper into this conversation when we have the entirety of this conversation, but just to kind of give you a background of what that is the problem. Is people want to be heard but don't want to hear other people. When it comes to this, the WNBA security, you had absolutely no right to tell somebody to censor themselves. Censorship is a thing that can get you sued. If those fans felt deep enough about it, they will absolutely take legal action, because I as a fan am paying money to come see your product. I'm paying money to come see your team and your player and my favorite team, my favorite player in action. As long as it's not something egregious in terms of like, you're not threatening a player's life, you're not threatening somebody's life, you're not doing too much, right? Having a t-shirt with a message on it saying that you support transgender athletes in any form. And I'm paraphrasing the message that was on the shirt, but from my memory, that was the nutshell. But to sit there and tell somebody that they can't come into your arena where I'm paying money to come see a product, you don't get to do that. I'm asking for my refund. I'm causing a stink about it because you don't get to censor me. That's not a thing. That's not what we do here. We're not censoring, none of that. Absolutely not. Either way. So, and like I said, I'm going to be real with you. This is where sports and politics and free expression collide all the time. And we've seen it in the NFL, we've seen it in basketball, we've seen it especially at the hype of it all, the entirety of athletes and fans of sports getting more into their free expression in terms of just the start of this with Colin Kaepernick, taking the knee during the game and all the things. So regardless of where you actually stand with the issue, like the question is like, what should fan bases be allowed to wear inside a professional sporting event? Like, is there a draw? Like, is there a line? Like, I mean, like, I want to know, like, are we drawing lines? Like, what is the threshold? Because if we can sit there and allow players to basically assault each other and not get suspended and not get ejected and all these other things, why shouldn't fans be able to wear t-shirts with a message on them? Like, am I tripping? Like, somebody let me know. Like, am I doing too much? Like, am I just like, am I overreacting about this? Am I underreacting about this? I mean, like, somebody let me know. Like, I want to make sure that I'm appropriately, like, attacking this and understanding this in its entirety. Again, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. First one in 2 days. Proud of myself. Either way. Is there like, and here's the other thing, and just kind of going back on my notes here, like, if the shirt wasn't threatening anybody, it's not disrupting the game, it's not violating it's not like obstructing clear violations and policies of the arena itself. Like, again, where do we draw the line? Like, that's the conversation. Now the WNBA itself has to deal with it because it isn't the first controversy surrounding this issue. That's the other thing, is like, y'all are already under fire because this whole entire conversation of transgender athletes, and who should be constituted to be able to play in the WNBA. Like, y'all are already under fire, and now you add this, which is like a similar link in the big issue overall. And here's my question, and not really a question, but it's more my gripe, is why you hadn't had this sector or this issue in the WNBA thought about or talked about already in its entirety is interesting to me. Like, why do you now have to form a committee to figure that out? Like, make that make sense. Like, why do you have to have a committee to determine what type of person is eligible to play in the WNBA? Like, make that make sense. And if you're trying to base it off of what other professional leagues are doing, it's a lot mixed. It's really mixed in the fact that some professional women's leagues allow it and some professional women's leagues are not for it. And that's okay. Whether you're for it, whether you're not for it, as long as you're standing on that stance, I don't care. Stand on it, stand with your stance, and be firm. Stand on business. Listen, on the map out here, make sure you're following on the map. Everybody that's joined, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Tap the screen, share it out, get your daily heart meets. Like I said, we still got a little ways to go trying to get to that 100th person so we can make our community gift for the truck tunnel and the show itself. We're still talking basketball here, just about 121 here in the afternoon for you. Now getting back to actual basketball. Listen, Caitlin Clark is playing good basketball. This was the efficiency that we really wanted to see from her the past couple of seasons. Obviously, last year she only played 13 games with that nagging groin injury, all the things. Right now, she's helping putting on this big long stretch for the Indiana Fever. And I love to see it. And it's not even so much that she's trying to get her own points. She's still out here creating shots for everybody else. It's the way she sees the court. It's the way she's passing. It's the way that she's making better shot selections too. She's not just stopping and popping because she knows 90% of the time it'll go in. If she sees an open three, she's not necessarily taking it. If she sees a better shot, she's passing the ball, all the things. The most important thing I think to annotate with this is it's important to the Fever team and not just Caitlin Clark. I think a lot of people seem to think that anytime people talk about Caitlin Clark, they only talk about Caitlin Clark. Well, yes, there are a lot of people who only talk about Caitlin Clark, and those types of fans and enthusiasts are very exacerbating. There is more basketball, and there are more players outside of Caitlin Clark, absolutely. But right now, you have to give her flowers. She's out here contributing to the efficiency that people have wanted to see, and she's playing defense. Listen, it's still not the best, but she's playing defense. She's putting more pressure on point guards and shooting guards. She's trying to stick into those mismatches. It's very interesting to see. Seeing her paired up against Angel Reese was wild. I was like, okay, like Angel Reese got about 5 inches and another 5.5 on wingspan, but she was out there doing her best at 6 feet to lock her up. Either way, you've got Leah Boston, you've got Kelsey Mitchell, you've got Sophie Cunningham, you've got KK Timpson, Ty Harris, Maisha Hines-Allen, Mercedes Russell. Like, you have a squad. And again, it's what we didn't have last year. And when I say we, as far as like being a fan of the Indiana Fever, we didn't have a lot of bench depth to pick and pluck and replace if people need breaks. Like Kelsey Mitchell last year was getting like very little blows and then having to try to drop 20 points. Now she's on her 19th game of dropping 20 points or more in a game, which is a WNBA record and her own record that she has set, mind you. Either way, you've got a team that's starting to understand what it takes to win consistently and cohesively. I love to see it. Then you have the Golden State Valkyries. I don't know what planet Natalie Nakase has dropped from, but it's certainly not Earth. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that right now. It is not planet Earth, but I'm here for it. Natalie Nakase and the Golden State Valkyries are out here. Also, did anybody see the dime that Tiffany Hayes dropped in last night's game? Pulled up from Canada, hit the three, and Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors were in the stands. And when I tell you, the reaction on Steph Curry's face was all I needed for the rest of the night. It was fantastic. Tiffany Hayes pulls up from literally just beyond half court, maybe closer to the half court than we could see on screen. Pulls up and just hits this floater, and everybody just went silent, and you just see it hit the backboard and drop it in the bucket. And I was like, this is the kind of basketball I have been itching to see. This is the kind of basketball we have been wanting to see. It's now getting into postseason. People are gearing up. Teams are playing at their peak. I love to see it. And like I said, a franchise that didn't even exist until last year. Mind you, this is their second season in the WNBA. They broke a playoff berth last year, and they've done it again this season. It's impressive. And the pieces that they've picked, the pieces that that they had last year that didn't really work out, or they had on 1 years, they've shuffled those around, moved those around, got some of that cap space back, have brought in players that have consistently been playing at a high level. And now, again, the WNBA playoff picture is getting tighter and tighter. I love to see it. I love to see it. Then you have the Minnesota Lynx, again, sitting near the top of the entire standings. I'm still pretty sure at number 1 at 28-7, if I do remember. They have been sitting at the top of the WNBA rankings since the beginning of the season. They have not lost double-digit games as of right now. As of right now, as we're talking here on Mack Truck in the Morning, Mack Truck Podcast, the Minnesota Lynx have not lost double digit yet. Quite literally. They are almost triple over 100. I'm just, like I said, 28-7, 27-8. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. You also still have teams like the Vegas Aces, the current champions, that are still battling for one of those top 3 positions. Okay. Now we're getting to the point of season where, like, you don't really care what the record looked like 2 months ago. It's about what you're doing now. Especially, like I said, with postseason seemingly enough coming very fast. You want to be playing your best basketball right now, but you also want to be in a point to where you can start to play some of those other pieces and get your top 5, top 6, top 7 that rest in between during games. And it's something like it's something you also think about, like, what can your team do on the road, not just because you have home court advantage. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Like, are we still as sharp as we were at the beginning of the season? Probably not, because we've had a lot of wear and tear. There's been a lot of games back to back. There's been series. There's been a lot of travel. All the things and time and attrition that comes with basketball and sports in itself. But about the latest controversy, what do you think the league should do with censoring fan messages on their shirts? What do you think should have in terms of how does the WNBA continue to combat this? And do we think that we're going to get an answer by the end of the week in terms of the WNBA, in terms of transfer athletes? I want to know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat, send it to me in a text message, call me, beat me. If you want to reach me, when you want to page me, it's okay. Shout out Kim Possible, all the things. Right now, I got to do a network plug for one and only On the Map. Listen, All Things On the Map is back this week, episode 18, featuring Samo Green tomorrow, 8/19, 5 p.m. Eastern. 2 means it's 4 Central Time. All things on the map, all things unknown artists and discoveries. Make sure you're tuning in with J Mac and Evan Thunder Bradfield, only On the Map, as well as On the Map music reviews. Send your music to the link in the on the Map review. Thank you for joining us here on the Mac Truck Show. I appreciate it. Jenny, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Go ahead and tap the screen. Get your daily heart music here. Listen, On the Map Music Reviews is presented to you by Tara Thomas Talent Agency and the Unknown Network. Again, On the Map Music Reviews this week are back 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, 8:20. That is this Thursday after the On the Map episode itself with Samo Green. Okay? Live on the Unknown Network, again, presented to you by the Tara Thomas Talent Agency, as well as the TikTok stream, TikTok sphere itself. You can find it Discord, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. Make sure you're following the network. That thing. Make sure you're following the network for all things Unknown. Okay? We're out here. We're almost done with the docket, surprisingly enough. We have had so much happen and talk about, and I've been on for just under an hour. Listen, the production is great. I gotta give myself a pat on the back. The production has been fantastic. I see my wife has popped back in the chat. Babe, if you could kindly send my special guest in here for just a minute, I would deeply appreciate that. Yes, please send my special guest in here because we were talking yesterday, and I want to make sure that she gets to say hi to everybody on the plug. So once we do that, once she comes in here, we're going to talk the Los Angeles Lakers and all things confusion and all things literally unknown when it comes to this, the majority, the rest of the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers and the majority ownership of such a thing. So we're starting out, we're getting back into sports until my special guest, who I believe is Kai Boo. Come here. You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, Minion.
Say subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe to my channel, Minion.
You eat a popsicle?
Yeah, because it was hot out there.
Hot there? Did you have fun with Mom?
Yeah.
All right. And Daisy.
Outside.
Yeah, you can go back outside. I know you wanted to say hi. Say bye, everybody. I love her so much. Babe, you can say hi too if you want.
Subscribe my channel.
Subscribe my channel. Listen, it's a family vibe up in here.
Subscribe my channel, the Mom Brew.
The Mom Brew. Subscribe to the Mom Brew and subscribe to All Things Peanut Butter and Jelly on my daughter's face.
Deli.
Either way, we're getting back into talking about sports. Like I said, I need to have my special guest on because she was begging me yesterday to come on, and then when I asked, she was outside playing with the dog. So I didn't really have a choice. Either way, talking NBA here on the Mack Truck Show, Mack Truck in the Morning podcast, if you will. Okay, listen, back to the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers, and now it's the ownership part of it is what isn't making sense to me. So just to recap, if you guys don't remember, okay, the Lakers were recently valued at a record $12.5 billion after Bob Iger and Josh Kushner agreed to acquire Mark Walters' controlling interest on the team after some investigations, all the thing. And the executive producer texted me and asked if we was talking about the other part of this with fake news. We will here in just a minute. Thank you for that reminder in terms of the insanity that has ensued and the fact that the four-letter network has not gone back to correct this. We're going to get into that controversy here in just a second. Okay. Like I said, Josh Kushner, Bob Iger, essentially bought the $12 billion acquiring controlling interest for the Los Angeles Lakers. But now there's another chapter. The Buss family still owns 17.8% of the Lakers in its entire after obviously Jerry Buss had passed away. The entire family members, in terms of all 5 children, have some kind of ownership in this sale. Now, 6 children reportedly voted to sell the remaining stake of the Los Angeles Lakers ownership to Iger and Kushner. There's just one problem. Jeannie Buss is not on board with it, and I'm almost positive out of the 6 children, she has the majority of the controlling vote. So my question is not really a question, but it's a question, a statement. Jeannie Buss is challenging the proposed sale through her attorney, arguing that the family's trust rules acquire approval for the appropriate co-trustees before the stake can be transferred. Essentially, there's a family legality to it. The trust has to be pre-approved before they can sell it. And it's interesting to me. Hi, Melissa. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Get your daily heart me, send it out, share it out, post it to your stories, all the things. Talking about the Buss family and the 17.8% that they still own on the Los Angeles Lakers. This could literally affect Jeannie Buss's position with the Lakers in itself. It's not just about money. It's about the fact that they still own 17% of it. And the 17% they own is the controlling factor of such a thing. NBA rules acquire that a team's governed or controlling owner maintain at least 15% of the ownership itself. The Buss family, again, has that 17.8. So if this stock is sold, this is what I don't understand. I see a comment from J Mac over here. The 5 of the 6 children are wanting to sell, and Jeannie Buss is not. She's the 6th child, and she's not on board. So if it's not a majority, there's no sale. That's normally how that goes, especially in like a stakeholder ownership section of this entire thing. Now, if that stake is sold, Jeannie Buss would fall below the threshold and lose her position as Lakers governor. You can find all this information at NBA.com, Lakers.com, and Reuters.com as well in terms of all things referencing points and all the things because we credit our sources here on the show. Now let's think about this for a second. Okay, we're talking about the daughter of Jerry Buss, the man who literally brought the Lakers to town to insurgency rather in 1979. Helped build one of the most recognizable sporting franchises on earth. Literally, in sports, all the things. Jeannie has been the Lakers governor since 2013, so just over a decade. She's been through the Kobe era. She's been through the Shaq era. She's been through the many different transitions of Kobe. She's been through the entirety of the demise and upbringing of the Lakers in all shapes and sizes. She has seen this from afar. She's seen it from the inside, having that governor spot since 2013 and just being around the Lakers franchise as a child. Her father was the owner of this team for most of their childhood. Anthony, thank you for joining us. Not Anthony saying the Lakers suck. I'm a Golden State fan, so I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you, but I'm also an old school basketball fan. It's fine. Either way. Now, after 4 more decades of Buss family ownership, the family could completely be out of the Lakers franchise as we know it. And I don't I don't know if I necessarily like that for Lakers fans. I don't necessarily know if I like that for the Lakers franchise in itself either. So I'm really trying to figure out where she's going to try to draw this line, because I feel like the family could at least stay in the ownership, the governing position with having that 15%. Having that 15% would keep her at that governing spot and selling the other 2.8% of it. I think getting rid of that, just the access 2.8 and keeping enough to be the governor is where you could go with this. Like I said, you got the record-setting 12.5 billion of valuation. Now you have two majority owners and Bob Iger and Josh Kushner waiting for the entire rest of this situation. And the NBA itself has to approve the ownership transition as well. I don't know if that's going to be feasible. And I see my wife is in the comments. Yes, babe, I saw your text message, but I'm talking and I love you. Don't beat me up. Either way, we've seen the years of the organization. Yes, babe, I would love some food before I go to work. I would appreciate it. You know what I like. I don't know what I'm feeling, but whatever you order, I'm going to eat because I'm a big back. Either way, we've seen the Lakers ownership and the organization go through many, many eras. Obviously, Magic Johnson, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, and now Luka. I also want to know what this means for the new generation of the Lakers. If there's any Lakers fans here in the chat, drop a comment. What do you think this means for your team? What do you think this means for Luka? Are you on board with what's happening in your front office? Are you completely against it? Or as a basketball fan, what do you feel like? I mean, obviously, I see some comments in here. J-Mac talking to Big Ant about MJ and Kobe being their 1A and 1B in terms of GOAT is concerned. And I can't say I disagree with that. Either way, the solution shows how complicated ownership can be when it comes to family, money, obviously control, legacy, and all things collide in its entirety. So this is just like, it's a giant mess right now. There's a lot of other things in the NBA that are a mess in terms of Shams Charania, and I need to know if the executive producer is on here still. So from my understanding, Shams Charania has reported fake news in terms of them not finding any evidence in this investigation with Bob Eumer and the Clippers. And as him and I were talking this morning, first of all, why report that? Because it's incorrect, because y'all already came out with a report yesterday saying that there was, or 2 days ago saying that there was evidence. Now you're saying they didn't find anything at all. So which one is it? And are you going to go back and correct that? Like, I feel like you should have already went back to correct the thing, especially because this also kind of ties into the ownership and stakeholder issue with the Lakers, because they're in the same state on the same side with the same issue in terms of Mark Bulmer also having ownership of the Clippers as well. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you're an ESPN senior insider for the NBA, and you've just contradicted yourself and your network. Like, make that make sense. I don't understand it. Like, you have contradicted your network by reporting news that is incorrect, and so far, seemingly enough, not going back to correct it. Like, but somebody make that make sense to me. Can anybody on either side of these streams make that make sense to me? You would think being paid to talk about sports at a high level would get you to try to be as accurate as humanly possible. Yet you're not. That's not a thing. Like, it seemingly enough hasn't been a thing. And it doesn't look like you're going to correct it, because Shams Charania was just on the Pat McAfee show at the beginning of the show. I have got PMS right here on the studio screen. Go back and correct it. It bothers me to no end. Listen, before we hop into sports, gotta give a shout out to the merchandiser, the official sponsor and partner of the Mack Truck Podcast. Make sure you are getting all things Mack Truck apparel and In My Bag apparel here on the TikTok shop, as well as inmybag.bigcartel.com right now. Thank you for the daily heart me. I appreciate it. Right now, when you use the code word truck at checkout, you will receive 15% off your entire first order. That is code word truck. TRUCK for your entire 15% off your first order when you order online at inmybag.bigcartel.com, as well as ordering through the TikTok shop. Tell them the Mack Truck sent you. You can get all things Mack Truck apparel on there, as well as all things the Underknown collab with In My Bag apparel as well. Also, please check out Bulls Dynasty. The Bulls Dynasty line is so fire. I don't like the way this man and his artistry and the artists that he works with and collabs with in terms of the owner, sole proprietor, all the things, many masteries of hat, Evan Bradfield, and the things that he has done with this line is bar none. Like I've been here since day one. I'm still impressed. I'm still impressed to this day. Coming out with fresh stuff and stuff. In fact, he sent me an idea for a line last night and was just like, I just came up with this off the top of my head, and I can't share it because it's under construction and it's fire. It's just it's crazy. What is your question, Sir Anthony? Okay. Listen, I got to give you a shout out on here, my guy. Like I said, official partner and sponsor of the Mack Truck Podcast, the Mack Truck Show, been here since day one, been here since the foundation of the truck show. It's been great to see. It's been great to be affiliated. I did say Bulls. Absolutely. Bulls Dynasty is one of the current fresh lines on the In My Bag apparel site, Sir Anthony. Like I said, the TikTok shop, as well as inmybag.bigcartel.com. It is one, if it's still on the front page of the site, it goes West Coast Legends, Bulls Dynasty, and Ring Me. Ring Me is my favorite, personally, obviously because I'm a Golden State fan, but the Bulls Dynasty line is probably the coolest one out of the three. Yep, take my money. Listen, I'm telling you, Ant-Man, hop onto the site and use the code word. You will not be disappointed. I promise you right now. Those are only okay. So those lines that I just talked about are only on the full website. The limited stuff is on here on the TikTok shop. But either way, you can still get your apparel from each side. You can get it from there or you can get it from here. But the full outlines are only on the website. Again, inmybag.bigcartel.com, using the code word truck for 15% off your entire order first time. Yes, I do, Anthony. You are a longtime diehard Chicago Bulls fan. Your man is MJ, the GOAT, number 23. That is a thing. Go look at the line, check it out, spend all your money. That's all I'm going to tell you. Spend your money. In fact, the shirt I'm wearing is one of the original lines for In My Bag apparel, Mama Combat. Okay? King, Fever Hawk, War, Dell. And the character that is Luka Doncic, I don't know how to pronounce, and I'm not going to butcher it. Okay. It's fantastic. The Bulls Dynasty line is quite literally an homage to MJ and all of the legends. MJ and Rodman specifically. But if you are a Bulls fan, you will enjoy this line. All I'm going to say. Good morning, Skylar. Good morning, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for joining the fan club, and I appreciate it. You're number 48 in the fan club. Listen, we need 52 more to get to 100. We gotta try to do that by mid-September. Listen, last topic here on the show, talking WPBL. For those of you who don't know, women's professional baseball has had its inaugural season start here in 70 years. So are we going to admit Iowa? Listen, you missed the college football section, my dear friend. But we can add that to the list for tomorrow if you would like. Either way, hopping into the last topic here on the Mack Truck Show, Mack Truck Podcast. Got about 20 minutes for you here on the stratosphere that is the Underknown Network, as well as the TikTok shop. Still working on this first Dr. Pepper here. Again, proud of myself. By now, I'd have grabbed 2 more out the fridge. Either way, we're here. Women's Professional Baseball League is professionally here in its entirety. And when I say I'm talking about history, again, if you know about just women's professional baseball, this is the first league since the 1950s. Obviously, having a huge, heavy inspiration from the movie A League of Their Own and the inspiration of the league and teams that were prior to this WPBL becoming a thing. This is the first professional league in women's baseball in the United States since, again, the original All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1954. Okay. 1954 was the last time women had professional baseball. 72 years later, again, the Women's Professional Baseball League is back and it's full. And listen, it's a big deal because y'all know me. I'm a huge advocate for women's sports. I want to see women's sports grow. Absolutely. There's no crying in baseball. Ant-Man said it himself. It's a fact. If you know, you know. There's no crying in baseball. It's a big deal. And right now, the inaugural season only has 4 teams, but they are powerful 4 teams. They are the foundation of what this league is about to become. If you watch the AUSL, the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, it's about to grow that fast. The BBL is already out here. Your 4 teams for the inaugural season are the San Francisco Firebells, the Los Angeles Queens, the Boston Hunters, and the New York Heights. Right now, as we are starting to see them get some separation in the standings within the top 3 itself, San Francisco is sitting at the top at 5-2 with a record at number 1, as well as sitting at that top spot for the top 4 positions in itself, with it being a 4-team season right now. The Los Angeles right now is number 2, behind them just over 500 at 4-3. The Boston Hunters are 4-3, so just under 3-4 rather, just under 500, and the New York Heights right now are below that 500 mark at 2-5. So even with this still being early in the inaugural season itself, we're starting to feel who may be positioning themselves for the first ever women's PBL postseason. I'm excited to see how this goes. Listen, there's one name outside of Monet Davis. If you remember who Monet Davis was, she is still to this day is a baseball pitching phenom. She's most famous for having that huge shutout in the Little League World Series when she was younger, now playing on a professional level. But one person I want to talk about right now is Kelsey Whitmore. Kelsey Whitmore was the number 1 overall draft pick this season in the inaugural WPBL draft. She's already shown why San Francisco believes that she could be one of the faces of this league and this franchise in terms of being in San Francisco. That's why people want to understand. That's what I want y'all to understand. Is it's not just a novelty, because if it were, it would have fizzled out after the first month. If this were a novelty, people would not be highly interested. The some of the sections of the fan bases and things that wouldn't be filled at the stadium they play at, Robert Roberts Stadium in Illinois. Okay, I'm excited for this. They're doing it and they're carrying it out the way the history in itself. Okay, I just want to play baseball. That's all it's ever been for them. They don't want to play softball. They don't want to play slow ball. Is what they play. Quite literally at a high level. I love it. I'm excited. I don't necessarily have a team yet. I'm trying to see if they're going to spread out within the Midwest, maybe spread out on a coastal area, if you will. But the WPBL is a thing. Kelsey, again, Whitmore, like I said, she has gone for the cycle in about 3 games back-to-back. Home run cycle, hitting a single, hitting a double, all the way through the cycle, hitting up until hitting a home run and then doing it all over again. And the other thing with the WPBL is it's finally, and I say finally because women's sports is finally in a place where it's getting the recognition that it's deserved for this and for the entirety. Again, I don't care what you say. Y'all can try to troll me. You can't troll a troll. Women's sports are important. Everybody watches women's sports, whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you're watching it to watch the sport, whether you're watching it because you are an advocate, or whether you're watching it because you are a hater and you want to see them fail, you're still watching it. You're still watching it. The league has already landed an ESPN multimedia rights deal with ESPN carrying most of the games throughout the inaugural season. In itself, it's a huge opportunity to introduce the players, the inaugural stadium in itself, the inaugural field in itself, and play in front of a national audience. And you can find all this information on WPBL.com, as well as notes and ESPN press room in its entirety. Good morning, Forrest. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us here on the Mack Truck Show via the Underknown Network, via the TikTok live stream as well. Please get your daily heart me, share it out, post it to your story, all the things. Like I said, trying to get our algorithm back, trying to get back into a space to where we can start to really move this thing forward again. Just going back to the WPBL talks, like I said, it's important because women's sports are proving that there's an audience. Listen, Anthony, there's no pregnancies until later tonight. Come back to Big Countries Live for all things up in here. Oh my God, amazing. I love it. Like I said, this is important for women's sports, though. There is an audience for women's sports. There's an audience for all all kinds of sports. You, like I always say, you just have to know where to look for them. You just have to know where to find them. And the WNBA has shown it. Women's soccer obviously has shown it. Women's college sports have definitely shown it in its entirety. Okay. The question is can the WPBL continue to find its turn in its first inaugural foundational season? Can you keep building the stars that you have? Can you keep putting faces out there? Can you keep the streams going? Can you keep the content going? Can you continue to produce a great product like all these other these women's federations in terms of sports are concerned? Like, can you do that? And right now, the answer is yes. That's exactly what they're doing. You have little boys and little girls buying these jerseys, following these people on social media, looking for inspiration. Like, oh, I'm a girl and I can play baseball at a high level. I don't have to try to play with the boys if I don't want to. And it's those types of things. You have little boys and little girls out here wearing Caitlin Clark's jerseys. You have them wearing Paige Becker's jerseys. You have them, wearing Asia Wilson jerseys. It's not just men's sports that you're finding kids getting merchandise and being involved in right now anymore. And that's the thing about it is we love it here. People don't just, you don't just need people to watch. You don't just need people to share a post. You need them to actually care. Get in the merchandise, all the things. Like I said, know the players' names. You need the rivalries. You need all the storylines. You need the drama. And there hasn't been any real drama yet in terms of what this is concerned. But you have to have all those nuances to continue to grow. And that's what the WPBL has done. And that's what they will continue to do. Now, like I said, I'm watching the Fireballs because of Kelsey Whitmore and how she's playing. That's when you know what you've got something there. Quite literally. And the fact that and a lot of it is because there's fraud of it is because it's their inaugural season. But Kelsey Whitmore to me is the equivalent to a Shohei Ohtani in terms of pitching at a high level and batting at a high level. Not so much the pedigree, just because, obviously this is the WPBL's inaugural season, all the things. But that is the equivalent because of her game. Very equivalent to her. Monet Davis, obviously a storybook name, a household name when it comes to the world of Little League Baseball. Now when it comes to professional baseball, she's a pitcher for the Indianapolis Clowns, as well as being that utility player in the WPBL. And we love to see it. There's so much history being made. I love it. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for joining me. Tap the screen, get your daily heart me, all the things. Send a gift or two if you'd like. I'm here for the next about 5 or 6 minutes. We're rolling into just some of our audience interaction here. But in terms of our docket, we're done. We got it all. We talked about the WPBL and the importance of women's sports. We talked about the drama and controversy in the WNBA. Went over some stats. Went over the... And it's controversy because it's the college football preseason IAP top 25. Went over the Mack Truck watch list. Went over the interesting stakeholder issues in Lakerland. It is what it is. Listen, Anthony, you are a shoe freak. That is a certified sneakerhead and big ant down there. Absolutely for real. And there's all kinds of conversations going down on it. I love this. I love this. Listen, 2 of my best guy friends interacting with each other and talking to each other on the chat. This is what I love. These 2 gentlemen. And like I said, I always try to give a shout out to the people who have always been in my corner. Like I said, the executive producer, one of my best friends, Evan Thunder Bradfield, and Big Anthony down here in the chat as well. 2 of my biggest inspirations, 2 of my best guy friends out here who have been with me the entire way, have seen me fall, have seen me come up so many different times, and just being here in the space. I appreciate you guys. It's great. I love it. And they're talking about shoes in here. I love it. Listen, I got some things going over here on the chat. Listen, like I said, I'm kind of just going back and forth. Still got 2 screens rocking here on the Mack Truck Show. Amanda, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. We're here at just our audience interaction. Like I said, audience engagement, all the things for the show. Got most of the sports out of the way. Now we're just conversing. Ant and E-Money are talking shoes and clothes and lines and everything. I'm just out here talking to y'all. But if you're out here, go ahead and share it, post to your stories, send your daily heart me's, all the things. Alfonso, you are super late, my friend, and I'm sure you just woke up. It's cool. Hi, I hope you had a wonderful evening. My daughter's My daughter's talking to me through the window. I'm not real sure what she's saying. We're gonna pop in the network here. This is a first. This is a first. What up, though? What it is, listen, impromptu shout out to the executive producer out here on the Underknown Network. You can't see it over here on this stream, but you can see it on the TikTok sphere. Yeah, sorry. It's okay. We're gonna try to figure it out. I still need to figure that out. What up, big man?
As you said, we got a lot going on in the network right now.
We do.
Mom.
Yes.
What's
up?
There's a tire under.
There's a tire under the house?
Yeah.
I know.
That where the fire comes from.
Oh.
And I want that tire to get out of this under the house.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Did you tell mom?
No, I did not.
Oh, you did not. Okay. We'll go tell mom. That was crazy. That was crazy. All right. There's a tire under my house, and that's where the fire started.
I figured to break up all of the things we have going on right now, I'd make one announcement right now.
Let's do it. Listen, fresh announcement, fresh drop here on the Mack Truck Show via the network executive producer. Let's get it.
All the shows on the network, but especially with On the Map, we rely a lot on chat interaction and our audience and things of that nature. So we were trying to think of ways to give back to the chat and to those people that support us throughout, all our shows every week and things like that. So what we are doing in partnership with the Thomas Agency, as we are now partners with all super fans of On the Map, as well as our biggest gifter every show. So whether that's a review show, that's our interview shows, and the gifts must be over 2,000 coins over here on the TikTok side. We'll be doing giveaways every month. That could be in my bag apparel merch. That could be possibly, like a beat from one of these underknown producers, maybe a feature from some artists. Also, in your city, with a lot of these tours and stuff that the Tara Thomas Agency is involved with, we will be giving away concert tickets as well. So, you won't necessarily get to choose your concert or what it is, but it will be a concert in your area if you end up winning, if that's the available prize. So each month, at the end of the month, big gifters over 2,000 coins, and our super fans will all be entered into the giveaway for a chance to win, whether it's merch, tickets, maybe a guest spot on the show, things of that nature. But that will be kicking into gear in September. So at the end of September, we'll do our first giveaway. So this gives everybody a chance to become super fans, come join in on the chats, talk to our guests, give some gifts, and then you have a chance to win some stuff at the end of every month.
Listen, you guys heard it here first. And I don't know if you could really pick up the audio from the StreamYard side, but you heard it. Become a super fan of shows on the platform, and you're sending gifts that are over $2,000 in coins. You're entered in for a giveaway, because this is how we want to give back to the fans and the people that support our network and our shows. So like I said, first drop bomb here on the show via the executive producer. And listen, I have another special guest on here. What up, Big Ant? What's up?
Why don't you just take all my money, bro?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, he showed me. Oh man, why are we gonna do that?
Listen, this is an impromptu here on the Mack Truck Show. I wish you guys could see over here on the TikTok side of things. And this is the kind of community engagement I was looking for, was people to hop up in boxes after we get done with the show, with the docket itself. So I'm here, you're here, listen. I love it. So listen, if you guys are over here on the StreamYard, we are going to end it over here, but we're going to stay here on TikTok for a little bit. So if you're over here, go hop over to the TikTok side of things, but we will catch you tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 to 2 Eastern time here on the Mack Truck in the Morning Show. We will have our docket out for you per late night, because that's what time we get off of work, all of the things. So I am here for all of this. And I'm going to mute this person. Thank you so much. Love this for me. Either way, heavyweight champ. That's a dope name. What up, dope? But I appreciate you guys for joining us here. Like I said, switch over to the TikTok stream for damn. Look at all them shoes, bro. Ooh.
You're so lucky I'm not at home.
Yeah, listen, y'all are going to be great friends. So like I said, I appreciate you guys for joining us here on the StreamYard. If you're here, we're staying on a little bit for the TikTok stream. Got some guests here, got a little bit of community engagement going on. So like I said, like, share, and subscribe to the Underknown Network via TikTok and the Mack Truck Pod show, the Mack Truck in the Morning show itself. I love you all. Stay tuned, stay sporty. Yo, lay.